God bless you, beloved. Welcome back to Spiritual Adults, where we're digging into Bible stories and look for nuggets that we can use for our daily lives. Today's story is about Jesus himself. He has a lesson to teach us. He has something to teach us. So let's dig in. The story is found in John chapter 13. So he's been together with his disciples. And now he's been talking to them. So now in verse 13 he says, "Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end." I love that. He did a good job. He was committed to the disciples from beginning to the end. And so he is reporting, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. And supper being ended, the devil having already put it into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, "Lord, are you washing my feet?" It's Peter. It's classic Peter. He just has to oppose a little bit. Jesus answered and said to him, "What I am doing you do not understand, but you will know after this." Peter said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." He is the first one to go to the extreme. Never, never, never. Be careful now, Peter. "I will never, 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 never forsake you. You will never, never, never." He is always the first to speak. The never, 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 the extreme end. "You shall never wash my feet," Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. If I don't wash your feet, you have no part with me." That got Simon Peter's attention. Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only." Here it goes again, swinging from one end of the pendulum to the other side of the pendulum. "You will never, never wash." And then they said, "Okay, Jesus said, you're not going to be part of me. Okay, no, don't wash my feet. Wash me." You just give me a bath from my head to my toes. Isn't that something? "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you." It's amazing, and you see this dichotomy going on each time with Peter and Jesus. I find it fascinating. Here is this extreme, drama king. He will just, "No, you will never, never, never. I'm the one. I will love you, and I will." But Jesus is just even keel. He never let this man ruffles him. And as I think about it all the time, as at the time Jesus was to die, he was 33 and a half years. So we're talking about a 33 and a half year old man in charge of all these people. First of all, the 12, then the other 70, and the crowd. But he's so chilled and he's just consistent. He just doesn't go off. But here you see Peter. So when Peter is going off, Jesus is just, You'll not be part of me if I don't wash your feet. Then he said, wash, not my feet, wash my hands, wash my head. Jesus said, he who is bathed need not. You say the coldest, he tells you, let me read it. He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet. But look at the explosion here. Lord, not my feet. It's like this explosive this display by Peter. And Jesus is so calm. And he said, he who is bathed needs only to wash his feet. But it's completely clean. And you are clean, but not all. So he kind of affirms that you are clean. For he knew who would betray him. Therefore he had said, you are not all clean. So when he had washed their feet, taking his garments and sat down again, he said to them, and this is why this story is fascinating to me. Every story is fascinating, but this is the crux of the matter. Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. That's the lesson Jesus is teaching us here. Humility. You call me teacher. Yes, I'm kind of the boss here. But I've humbled myself and I've washed your feet. Do the same to one another. Wash one another's feet. For I have given to you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. Blessed are you if you do them. Blessed are you if you do them. Don't just hear what he's saying. Put it in practice. That's when you get the benefit. It's like take those vitamins. Until you take the vitamins, having them, in your hands or whatever, it will do you no good. I do not speak concerning all of you. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scriptures may be fulfilled. He who eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who receives whomever I sent receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. When Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, most assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. Then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he spoke. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Then, leaning back on Jesus' breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, it is he to whom I shall give a piece of bread when I have dipped it. And having dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. So he began to unfold what was about to happen to him. His betrayal and his ultimate crucifixion. Now, after the piece of bread, Satan entered him. Then Jesus said to him, what do you do? What you do quickly. What you do quickly. He's speaking to Judas Iscariot. But no one at the table knew for what reason he said this to him. For some thought because Judas had the money box, that Jesus has said to him, buy those things we need for the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. They didn't know that he was, and that's the thing I just alluded to. He's so subtle in this epic thing that is about to happen to him. He's seen his betrayal. He's revealed the betrayer is, who is going to betray him, and he's just like, what you do quickly. What? I guess he's the Son of God. He's God. He's a deity, so he has all those control. No human being can do that, That's why they say the disciples, he was like this undercurrent. He was talking, but he wasn't talking. And this is how good he is. He didn't even let the disciples know. They didn't even know the import of what he was saying. That's what they're saying exactly. It was later. Having received the piece of bread, he then went out immediately, and it was night. So when he had gone out, Jesus said, now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him immediately. Little children, I shall be with you a little while longer. You will seek me, as I said to the Jews. Where I am going, you cannot come. So now I say to you, and no commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this, all we know that you are my disciples, if you have love one to another. I'm going to end in verse 35 because I want to keep the story together. I carried it this far because I wanted to tie this end. Jesus is giving us a new commandment, and that's what he just demonstrated, washing the disciples' feet. And he says we should wash one another's feet. Wash one another's feet. We should be humble. We should exalt our neighbor higher than ourselves. We should think, humble ourselves. It's not me first, it's my neighbor first. Love your neighbor first. When we start loving each other like that, if I make you, give you preference over myself, take care of you first before myself, then the world will know that we are Jesus' disciples. Is the emphasis here, the takeaway. Love one another, prefer your neighbor to yourself first. When you get home, wherever you're hungry, give your neighbor food first. Put your neighbor, love, let that love move you. When you do that, there's a blessing. But not only that, the people around will know that these are the followers of Jesus from the way they love each other. Can you imagine Jesus glorified in heaven now? But I assure you, the disciples, they can't get over this activity that Jesus did for them. I'm sure over the years they have to reminisce and say, remember when he washed our feet. He washed our feet. The Messiah washed our feet. We're reading the story after the fact, and the story is so touching. It is our watchword, Christianity. Love one another. This is the takeaway. Love one another. I'm landing this plane right now. Love one another. Love one another. And Jesus, and then you promote Jesus. By this, people will know that we follow him. We're his followers. Let us make the world recognize, take notice that we are followers of Jesus by the love we exemplify to our fellow man. Christian or no Christian. They didn't say love Christian. Love your fellow human being. And we have the ability to do that because the Holy Spirit is in us, Jesus is in us, God is in us. We can do it. Go out today and make Jesus proud. And let the world know that we are his followers. God bless you. Until the next episode of Spiritual Adults. Bye.